Welcome back, everybody. Thursday morning edition of Hot Mic rolls on. Jory Collins will join us, NDSU women's basketball head coach, about a half hour after the Bison big win last night in Vermillion, getting ready for the matchup with UND. Speaking of which, the doubleheader is coming up on Saturday. You'll see both games here live on WDAY Extra, 1 o'clock for the women's game. The men's game will start at 4. We're beyond in-between games as well. We're going to blow this thing up. It's going to be a great day on Saturday. But if you are going to the game, a couple of changes this year. I'm happy to announce after last year where they had 2 separate tickets. So if you wanted to go to both games, you needed 2 tickets. That is not the case in 2025. The man behind maybe that decision, we'll ask him, NDSU's Director of Fan Engagement, Cam Bastian, joins us here on this Thursday morning. It's good to see you, bud. We haven't seen you since before the football season, and we'll get to that in a minute. But give us the lowdown on the change in this and why the decision just to go for 1 ticket on Saturday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, we heard a lot of the feedback from last year with the doubleheader, that one thing that's, we're grateful for here at NDSU is that we're able to offer 2 separate ticket packages, typically for, our men's basketball and women's basketball. A lot of our other counterparts in the Summer League, they offer 1 basketball season ticket. So we're grateful to have the separated support of those that can support the women's program and the men's program. So that was a struggle last year with just being able to have those 2 separate games, but on the same day.
Right.
But, we heard the feedback from our fans. We weighed the pros and cons of, okay, how do we combine this in a way that really makes sense, in a way that, benefits season ticket holders, so that way they're not, necessarily losing their seats for a sport that they don't have tickets to and all of that. And, at the end of the day, it made more sense playing a true doubleheader, back-to-back games, a single ticket to get you into the facility for the day. And we felt like that was the biggest benefit to our fans.
My eyes perked up when I saw it announced on social media last week, Cam, or maybe 2 weeks ago. What's been the feedback that you've heard from fans, and then just where we're looking at tickets here for the game on Saturday?
I think fans are excited. I think that because last year it was 2 separate tickets, this year it's a single ticket. It's a little bit of a change there. So just really trying to make sure our fans are educated and understand that, hey, what you're seeing online is not a single game price. That price is to attend both games, all the fun that goes into it. We'll talk a little bit about the halftime show and all of that kind of stuff. But it's a single ticket to attend both games on Saturday.
Now, and the tough part was last year, the crowd was great for the men's game. The men's game went first, and that was dictated, I know, by television as well. But people left, and then the way the women's game started, Cam, the Shack roof would have blown off how the Bison started that game, which I got to imagine was the frustrating part as well. If people stayed, then who knows? That would have been an amazing start, which now you have the potential for that on Saturday.
No, absolutely. And we're with the, again, with how the ticket situation was last year, that was just kind of one of the things that we had to do, and the challenge that we faced with 2 separate tickets. But we're excited to be able to say, hey, for a single price, come at 12 o'clock, 12:30, enjoy a fantastic women's game. Women's team is really rolling here in Summit League play, and then obviously keep sticking around for that men's game who they're shooting pretty red hot, and they're having a good time in Summit League play as well.
I'm scanning online right now for people that want to go. I'm just looking at the women's game here. You've got some sections that are already sold out, which is fantastic, and then some that only have single ticket availability. What are you looking at right now on Thursday at 9:40? What availability is for Saturday?
We still have tickets available, so don't shy away if you're kind of up in the air about attending. But also at the same time, we're expecting a full house. Obviously the rivalry, close proximity always just draws a good fan crowd, regardless of the home record or the team's record or anything like that. But we've got a great team, and I think that the product that they're putting on the floor. Shout out to both coaching staffs for playing some electric basketball. They're really exciting to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to be there, to see those guys, shooting those 3-pointers and really hitting them well and everything. So it's great. And I would encourage fans to come out and see them live in person. And there's no better opportunity than Saturday.
Well, I really thought the game against St. Thomas, I don't know if you were there for that one over the winter break. There were no students. The crowd was really good. It was really good for a game on, January 2nd. That stuck with me. The Kansas City game a couple weeks ago, or last week, sorry, was also with the students back was dynamite. there's some momentum here. I hope that carries over to obviously what we're going to see on Saturday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, yeah, our fans are realizing that our basketball teams are having some fun and playing good basketball. And like you said, with the students back now, it just adds an even extra element. So it's a good time to come out to the Shack and enjoy some basketball.
All right, we teased it now. We got to deliver. So halftime is not the usual halftime. Give us the lowdown on what's going on for both games at halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited for halftime this week. I was telling you before we got on the air, I'm always a sucker for a Frisbee dog team. So excited to welcome the Fairly Odd Dogs Frisbee dog team based out of the Twin Cities. They're coming up to be able to perform at both games. They're going to give us a different show at each game. So don't think if you're watching the women's game that you're going to see the same thing in a couple hours. So they're a great act. They're a great team. Their trainer, he's a great guy to be able to work with and everything. And I think our fans are really going to enjoy it and just, again, add some extra excitement to an already exciting day.
Now, I don't want to put you in a bad spot. Like, how many dogs are there? I mean, we're seeing a little bit of the video you guys tweeted out. Is it multiple or is it just one?
No, so they have a full team of about 11 dogs.
Wow.
I don't know if they're piling in the van and bringing all 11 dogs. I would assume that there's going to be a couple dogs, a few dogs being shown off some different tricks. And, they've got the Frisbee dogs, they've got the acrobatics dogs that'll do flips and jump off of them and all that kind of stuff. So it should be pretty entertaining. It should be a great show.
Yeah, I'm mesmerized by this, maybe because of my intellect is of that level. But this is, again, different ideas. How much have you embraced that and trying to get everybody on board? Say, hey, what we've done maybe isn't working. Let's change it up. Let's do some different stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're always trying to, look at ways that we can make our fan experience better, make the experience at our games better, everything that we can do to really improve that. And, we felt like, especially, with the money, there's money involved when you bring in a halftime act like this. So we want to make sure, if we're going to invest in something like this, we want as many people to be able to participate and see it as possible. So we thought the doubleheader was a no-brainer to be able to do that, get two shows, be able to show off this to the fans and have a really great, elite level atmosphere from the basketball games and then also from the dogs doing their tricks.
Well, we're going to show part of that during our broadcast. I think people will really enjoy that. I'm fascinated with it too. That's fantastic. We have not had you on, as I mentioned, since prior to football getting started. We had you on talking about the changes that were going to come as a result of Bison football game days. I wanted to ask you about a couple things that you got feedback for. I want to start with the Stampede March. I was out there for all 9 of them. I thought it was dynamite. The South Dakota State game during the regular season was the highlight for me because the weather was great and it was a night game. But even the Jacks game, Cam, in December, I was out there for that, and it was cold. There were still plenty of people around for it. What was the feedback you got, and do you anticipate changes for that for 2025?
Oh, I would say we got really positive feedback. Obviously, our fans are very familiar with the walk from Frisco and everything like that. So being able to bring that to Fargo was definitely a highlight. And, obviously Coach Polasek very on board and very excited about it as well. So having the buy-in from the team and then obviously getting the fans on board was a great thing. And like you said, having the beautiful weather for that that October game against SDSU, just fantastic atmosphere and everything. And I applaud the Bison fans that stood out there in the, single-digit temperatures in December and was able to still welcome the team out there. So yeah, we're looking forward to doing it again, looking for ways to make it bigger, better, more impactful, get more people there to be able to witness it and, high five the team, all of that kind of stuff. So looking at different ways that we can really elevate it next year.
I think some members of the team initially thought maybe it was too long. Did you hear any kind of feedback like that at all?
Oh yeah, I would say the timing on game day is very down to the minute. The team's got their itinerary and all of that, so they're trying to be as intentional with their time as possible. So anything we can do to help with that, they're on board for. So I don't know if we'll have any changes with the distance they walk or anything like that, but maybe timing things up so that way it works better for their schedule.
And then inside with the fans part, with the pregame, and everybody, we talked about it when you were on in August that the helmet was going away and the other changes. What did you get feedback-wise from that? Because I thought the flames of them coming out, that it looked great. What did you hear from the team and then fans about the pregame experience?
No, I'd say again, positive feedback from everyone. Obviously, we did this change. It was brand new. It was a learning curve from us being able to say, okay, what's the best way to make this look good for video, for photo, for the overall atmosphere. And I think we learned a lot of things this year to be able to take towards next year and make some tweaks, improve it, and get it a better experience for next season. But I'd say overwhelmingly positive from fans and players alike. When players it was funny before the very first game. I was out there at practice, and I remember some of the new guys were talking about how excited they were to run through the helmet and run out and everything. And I had to be like, spoiler alert, there's no helmet this year. But I think I won them over with the flames and the CO2 and all that stuff. And I think they enjoyed that experience. Brought it to be a little bit more of a professional level. Something you'd see at a Vikings game or something like that.
I think Polisic told me he got a little too close to the Flames one time, but
I wouldn't be surprised. He came out of there running fast. So yeah.
But to see that, I mean, the one I think it was the Jackrabbit game again during the regular season where you turned the lights out and you had special towels. I mean, those kind of things, and it looked great. When you have that kind of feedback, say, okay, we did this. How do we build upon it now for next season?
I mean, yeah, that's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to spend the next, 6 to 8 months trying to solve and plan for and all of that. We had great buy-in from all of our fan base, obviously, but then, the partnerships between us, Gate City Bank and everything to really make those rally towels happen and everything. It was a great experience and a great learning thing for us. Now that we've got that direction, it's okay. How do we take it up a notch? People probably have a rally towel sitting in their homes now. What can we do for them next year to make sure that it's a brand new experience and something that's unique for them? So definitely excited to explore some of those ideas. And then as we get closer to the season, share those with Bison Nation.
Before I let you go, your job, I know you're looking at what other people are doing. You've worked at other spots. At this time of year, how much do you go and look at what other people did? Ooh, that's not bad. Can we incorporate that? How much of that is not necessarily stealing, but copying or seeing what everybody else is doing?
It's all part of the R&D process. We're out there just researching just like anyone else. And it's definitely staying in contact, seeing, a lot of things go viral on social media. So those are the easy ones to say, okay, I see what they're doing over here. And, I watched the college football playoff and the championship game and tried to notice some things that they're doing that way. And so, just trying to look at those bigger games, those bigger atmospheres. I've got some connections between the Vikings and the Seahawks and some other professional teams. So, how do we elevate our game days to be something more like the professional sports while keeping that classic college feel between the band and all those other things that are going on in the student section and all of that. So just trying to find the best of both worlds.
If you can somehow get the fake snow like US Bank Stadium does, that'll be highly popular here. I can tell you that.
All right. Hey, I'll look into that.
I don't know. I don't know how feasible that is considering that's a professional deal, but, that's pretty cool there. I appreciate the time, bud. Good luck this weekend. I know it's going to be a great environment, and thanks for giving us a few minutes this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Cam Bastian, NDSU's Director of Fan Engagement, joining us here on the show this morning. I think overall, just speaking on the football stuff, because that's where I know a lot of people, I don't know if trepidation was the right word, but from the Stampede March, and we showed you the video of that. That was fan. If you didn't make it out for that this year, find a way to do it next season. If you're out in the tailgate lot, that was really cool. The team totally embraced it. Now, can I say they embraced it when we got to December? I will tell you, the game with Abilene and the game with Mercer, and certainly the last game, the Jacks game. That was a full-on sprint. Like I could have timed that. But you saw it, that game with the Jackrabbits. It was the night game. It was whatever it was, like 50 degrees out that night. It was awesome. That was beautiful. That was a fantastic environment that day. Now, before the game, and everybody was up in arms. I know some love the helmet part of it. When you saw Polisic running out for the South Dakota State game, and I was down on the field for that, and the fire coming out, that was really neat. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, and maybe our guys in back know better than I. They had Thundar do the Go Bison with the trying to mimic the skull with the drum beat. I know they did that for the first couple games. I don't believe they continued it after Northern Iowa, I want to say. Because I do not remember it for the regular season finale. Yeah. I don't believe they did it for the final regular season game, and they didn't do it in the playoffs. So maybe that was an idea they liked, and that just didn't. I don't know if the fans caught on board, like with the "Let's go Bison," like that part. I don't think that worked as well as they were hoping. But you know what? That's why you try some different ideas. I think definitely the going away the helmet was a good idea, and I'm intrigued to see what else they have planned. And for this weekend, the Frisbee dogs alone, man, that's worth coming. But as I look online, for the women's game especially too, there are tickets that are gone. There's still plenty to in the lower bowl. It's tightening up there. Up top, there are some seats available. But the lower bowl, that's going to be filled for the game on Saturday, which should be a dynamite environment for us to broadcast as well. We're over to break. We'll take one here. We'll get caught up. Jory Collins coming up in about 10 minutes. We'll review last night's game and look ahead to the game with UND coming up on Saturday. Back on Hot Mic right after this.